morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Sir Meerkat, and welcome back to the MotoMeerkat channel, and welcome back to another live stream. The second day of the MotoMeerkat World Series Christmas Cup. I hope you're all very excited to get back underway with some racing. Obviously, we had the stream yesterday, the first day, the heats of racing, and those were a hell of a lot of fun. If you didn't catch that yesterday, you can go back on the channel. I think it might be live now, or it's such a long stream, it might still be a little bit until it gets uploaded, but you can find it on my channel very soon, if not. And I would definitely advise going back and watching some of those races, because they were mental. My voice has only just about recovered from the amount of shouting that I did yesterday. It was so utterly crazy. But obviously yesterday we've had the heats. The points have been tallied up from those, and it will be added to the points from today. Now today, no more heats, just one big race with all 15 competitors involved, and it's going to be a bit of an endurance. So today it's going to be a 10-minute practice, then a 20-minute qualifying, and then a 40-minute race. So it's going to be a little bit longer, a little bit more strategy involved, more strategic elements, but could give a little bit of a different aspect of racing, and hopefully different people can get different points, and it could prove for an interesting finale. Now, it's going to be in GT3 cars and at a track that is suitable for GT3s. Those are still undecided, and I'm about to decide them right now. So, we need to choose a track. I've got a hat here to decide what track we will be using for today's whole event. Just one pick, and then that's it. And then obviously, I've got the hat full of the drivers' names, and I've got the hat full of all of the GT3 cars that can be used. So the drivers currently have no idea what track they'll be racing at, what car they'll be using, so this could prove very interesting. Obviously, they've done no kind of practice, so racing could be quite fun. So let's have a pick. Thank you, JW, as well. I've seen this commented. Like the stream for me to die in turn one. Just like the stream anyway. It's fine. We love JW. He can die in turn one just to make the stream better. So thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Right. Okay, I'm going to pick this. This is quite a big moment for the track. One pick and that's it. Right, I picked one. One has been chosen, everyone. What is it going to be? I am excited. I don't remember what tracks I even put in this hat. I've really got no idea. So, let's have a look. What's it going to be? It is Laguna Seca. Will be the track that we'll be racing at today in GT3s. Now, I remember people saying in the chat about Laguna Seca. I don't remember if it was positive or negative, so be interesting to see when the live chats begin to come in now. I'm going to switch over so I can have a look at them, to see what people think of that choice. But there we go. We will be racing at Laguna Seca today, everyone. So I hope that's good. One of my favourite tracks to race on, but I know a couple of people aren't quite as happy with it. So we'll see what people think when it comes in. But let's start deciding what cars people are using. Well, when I say deciding, obviously it's going to be completely random. I'm not going to have any choice in this. Don't worry. No biases here on the MotoMeerkat channel. Don't worry about it. Okay, so I've seen it coming in now. Some people are happy. Some people not so much. Unlucky Sam, mate. You have to deal with it. Right. Here we go. Time to decide what cars each of the guys will be racing. So I think what I'll do is I'll pick out a car, then I'll pick out a person, then I'll pick out a car, then a person, and so on and so on and so on, until we've done all 15 choices. So let's begin, shall we? I will pick out the first car from the hat. Let's pick it. Here we go. Is that two? Nope, that is just the one. So the first car is the Bentley Continental. The Bentley Continental. Who's that going to be driven by is the question. Let's now pick that out from the hat of racers. Who's going to get the Bentley? I know JW might be quite happy with this. Let's see. I've picked out someone. Who's it going to be? No way! It is JWF1! Incredible! How has that happened, guys? You can't script this stuff. JW gets reunited with his Bentley from the MotoMeerkat World Series. That is so funny. Note that down. JW's in the Bentley. Right, let's move on to the second car. We'll try and go through these relatively quickly. Next car is the McLaren 650S. One of the best cars out of the GT3s. I think we can agree. So I think a lot of people will be wanting this, especially Todd. I know we like those. That person. That's who it's going to be. Who is it getting the McLaren? It's Racing Reviews. The two YouTubers coming out first. There you go. Racing Reviews gets to drive the McLaren for today's session. There we go. A top pick for him. I've just seen everyone is putting in the chat rigged about JW's choice. That is so funny. Honestly, guys, not rigged at all. I swear on my mother's life. And I swear on Brian's life. Okay, so that should prove that it's really not rigged. Honestly. Honestly. Right. GT3 car next is going to be this one. It is the Audi R8 LMS. I know another one that people are really wanting. So now let's pick out a racer. Who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? So deciding. Who gets the Audi? I know Ben wanted this. What? It couldn't seem more scripted, this. What is going on? Right, Ben, you lucky sod. You've somehow brought it into existence that you've got the Audi. So, lucky you. Right. Right. Audi goes to Ben. The next car to be picked is this one. It looks like John's having a wank when he shuffles the hat. Great. Thanks for that, Sam. Cheers, bud. The BMW Z4 is the next to be picked. Ben even said rigged on his own pick. Right, BMW Z4. Who's it going to be? Make sure we pick out the right hat. This person. This person is getting the BMW Z4. Who is it? It's LSJ Rundle. You are in the BMW Z4, mate. Good luck. Good luck. I know it's not the best car, but I'm sure you'll do okay, mate. I'm sure you'll do okay. BMW Z4 for him. Right. On to the next car. This one. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? The Nissan GTR Nismo for the next pick. So let's see who's going to be racing in that one. I'm not wanking. I'm picking out the hat. Next person is going to be Finley. Finley, you will be racing the Nissan GTR. Good luck with that, Finley. A decent car. Like, that one's all right, to be fair. Not the greatest ever, but not bad. Here we go. Right, everyone's spamming beams now. Brilliant. Thank you, everyone. Cheers. Cheers to that. What is going on? Right, the Acura NSX is next out of the hat. Probably one of my favourites to actually race on this game. Quite an enjoyable one. So, good luck to whoever has this one. It's a decent car. Right, there we go. Got one name. Out of the races. And it is WRL Senna or Arthur. I know he wanted the Porsche. But to be fair, the NSX, I would say, is the closest car to the Porsche on how it drives. So, close enough there for you, Arthur. So, let's note that down. Arthur has managed to get the Acura. Very nice, very nice. Now, back to the cars. Get one more. Here we go. Sorry, this is a slightly arduous process. Here we go. Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG is the next one up. Who is going to be winning that? Let's find out. This person. Is that two? No, that's one. Who is it? It is Sam Alicious. Sam, you will be racing in the Mercedes-Benz SLS. The next car out. Over halfway through now, certainly. Certainly over halfway through. Let's have a look. The Lamborghini Huracan is the next to come out the hat. And again, let's find out who's going to be racing that one. This person. This person gets the Lambo. Who is it? It's Rahis Again, if you weren't watching yesterday, I know it says DK Ardori. He's had to drop out, and Rahis will be taking his place. So, Rahis, you have the Lambo for today's session. Then continuing on, only a few people not picked yet. Let's have a look. What's this car? The Mercedes-Benz AMG for the next pick. Slightly different to the SLS. But let's see who gets this one. Here we go. Mercedes AMG. Who's it going to be a decent car? It is VF2R Daniel. You will be racing in the Mercedes-Benz AMG. There we go. Couldn't find you on my list for a second there, but there we go. Noted down. For the AMG, another pick. It is the BMW M6 to be raced. And who's going to be racing the M6? It's this person. Who is Todd E. Games. You will be racing the BMW M6 today, buddy. See how you can do in that car. A little bit of a boat, but I'm sure you'll be able to muscle your way around, Todd. Here we go. Next car. The Ginetta G55. It's the next one out of the hat. And only 4 drivers left to pick from. This person will be driving the Ginetta G55. And it is Gaming Gamer 2. You're going to be racing the Ginetta G55, mate. I know you've had a little bit, at least, in... How have I lost you? Is the question. Oh, right, okay. Gotcha. I messed up. I wrote down the M6 on... Oh, no. What, the G55, right? I was getting confused. There's too many pieces of paper in front of me now. Right, we're sorted. On to the final 3 choices of today. The Aston Martin Vantage. Quite a good car around the Mazda Laguna Seca Raceway track. So, see how that goes. Aston Martin Vantage. And out of the 4 racers left, this person, GSR CJ Pants, will get the Aston Martin. And then on to the final 3 picks. We've got Southless, Devan Lur, and Jack left. One of you will be getting the Cadillac ATS VR. Probably the most disliked GT3 car out of the lot. So I think a lot of you will be saying, please God, not me, out of the hat here. So, let's see. I've got a name. I've got a name for the Cadillac. Who is it? It is Jack 123344. Unlucky there, mate. You get to drive the Cadillac. I'm sure you can muscle your way around with it, like Todd will be doing. The not people's favourite, but Jack obviously won the MotoMeerkat World Series in summer. So let's see how he can do in that caddy. Then the final 2 picks will be this car, which is the Renault Sport RS. Obviously the car that Jack won the championship in. So close to getting it picked again, but not quite today. So who's going to be in the Renault out of the final 2 picks? Is this person? Southless. You will be in the Renault. A very good pick for you there, sir, as he is currently leading this Christmas Cup and has then got a decent car to have the battle there. So really could do it today. And then obviously the final person to be picked is Devan Lur. You will be racing in the Porsche 911. So let me run you through just exactly what everyone is in today. So finally, we've got all the picks done, and let me run it through in my trusty Formula E binder. Right, so we've got Ben Iansgeck in the Audi R8, Jack in the Caddy, Rahis in the Lambo, Sam Alicious in the Mercedes-Benz SLS, LSJ Rundle in the BMW Z4, Arthur Formula 1 in the Acura, Racing Reviews in the McLaren, GSR CJ Pants in the Aston Martin, VF2R Daniel in the Mercedes-Benz AMG, JWF1 in his trusty Bentley, Southless in the Renault RS Sport, FH444 in the Nissan, GTR, Divan Lur in the Porsche 911, Toddy Games in the BMW N6, and then Gaming Gamer in the Ginetta G55. Wow, this should be very interesting. I hope you guys are all happy with your picks of cars, but without further ado, I'm going to set up the lobby, get everyone involved, get ready, and you will rejoin me once we are in the lobby. So we're going to have 10-minute practice, 20-minute qualifying, and a 40-minute race. This should be really exciting. Don't go anywhere because you're not going to want to miss this. All right, I'll see you in just a second. Hello and welcome to the Mazda Laguna Seca Raceway. Well, that's as it's called in this game. Obviously, this game's a little bit old now. I think it's now called the WeatherTech Laguna Seca Raceway. There we are. I think Mazda sounds better and fits in better, but there we are. We're watching, who's that? Racing Reviews in his McLaren, currently in the pits, but we'll switch to someone that's already out on track. As I said before we jumped into the lobby, there's going to be 10 minutes of practice for the guys to sort of feel out these new cars that they're in, see how they're doing, trying to get up to speed, feel out the setups as well, see if there's anything they can change in the 10 minutes to get those few extra tenths of a second. And then we'll obviously jump into 20 minutes of qualifying that will decide the grid for the 40-minute race. So we should have the stream all done and dusted before 4 o'clock, so not to worry. But everyone who's involved, everyone who's watching, you're in for an absolute treat today. This should be really, really good fun as Sam, oh my goodness, almost absolutely takes off at the corkscrew. There we are. Obviously, the corkscrew being one of the most interesting parts of this circuit. I visited Laguna Seca in real life, and honestly, games and even on videos don't really do it justice to quite how steep the corkscrew really is. If you've been to Paddock Hill at Brands Hatch, you will know that that's also one that's quite deceiving of its height. And if you actually get there in real life, you're like, wow, okay, this is actually pretty steep. The corkscrew's like that, but times 1,000. So it's almost practically vertical at one point of it. Like, no cap. It's practically vertical at points. So a very cool corner, though. Very cool. And a very difficult one to get right. A very easy one to completely mess up. So hopefully we don't see too much of that today out on track. But it will be interesting, to say the least. So let's have a run through, have a quick look at people's cars. Obviously, people are going to be going in and out of the pits just to try and get used to their car, try and do any sorts of setup. But we'll run quickly through the order of today's procession. So we've got Arthur in his Acura there. We've got D. Van Leur, who's currently in the pits, who's obviously in the white Porsche there in the middle. Then we've got Sam in his Mercedes-Benz SLS. Then Rahis in the Lamborghini. We've got Ben in his Audi. Rundle in the BMW Z4. Southless in the Renault Sport RS. CJ Pants in the Aston Martin. Todd E. Games in the BMW M6. VF2R Daniel in the Mercedes. Indeed, he is the Mercedes AMG. Then Gaming Gamer in the Ginetta G55. Finn, or FH444, in that beautiful Nissan GTR. Then Jack123344 in the trusty Caddy. Then JWF1 in his Bentley that he loves so much. And then Racing Reviews out in that beautiful orange McLaren. So there you go. Run through the order of the racers today. Be sure to let me know in the live chat just who you think could take the win today. It's all to play for, honestly. As I said, we have got to add the points from today along with the points that the boys earned yesterday. So I can run you through the championship order after yesterday's running. So after, obviously, we had the heats. Now, a lot less points up for grabs yesterday. It was 10 points out of the heats of 5. It was 10 points for a win. It was we'll switch over to watch someone else. It was 10 points for a win, 8 points for a second, 6 for a third, 4 for a fourth, and 2 for a fifth place, and no points for fastest lap. So currently, we have Southless leading the championship. He's on 30 points. In second is Arthur Formula 1 on 26. Third is Racing Reviews, also on 26. Fourth is D. Van Leur on 24. Fifth is FH444 on 20. Sixth is Jack on 20. 7 is CJ Pants on 20. 8th is Ben Iansgeck on 18. 9th is LSJ Rundle on 16. 10th is Toddy Games on 16. 11th is Gaming Gamer on 12. 12th is Rahis on 12. 13th is Daniel on 12, or VF2R Daniel. And then 14th is Samalicious on 10. And 15th, bringing up the rear of the championship currently, is our favourite man, JWF1, who's throwing cones off his car like there's no tomorrow. Clearly hasn't been playing in the Bentley too much recently. Is having to get his head back in the game. So good luck to him as he takes an interesting line through that second to last corner, I think we'll say. Quite a bit of damage. He looks like he's crabbing, but he's going on for another lap, so mustn't be too bad, I guess. I don't really know. We'll see. I think the boys are kind of just trying to test out what the hell is going on. What the hell is going on right now? Alex the Great, what a prediction. Alex says, I think someone is going to win. Well, I think you can guarantee that bet, mate. If I could make that bet on betting websites before all the Grand Prix, I would be a millionaire by now. So, it's a good one there, Alex. Thank you for that, mate. Thank you. But I'm glad you're here, mate. Looking forward to the racing to start. We're already over halfway through this initial practice session today. So I just want to quickly run you through the points. As I said, there were a lot less points up for grab yesterday. Today, way more points. So the point system that we will be using is, when I get it up, oh no, I've lost it. Here we go, I've found it. So the point system for today is going to be 25 points to the winner, 22 for second, 20 for third, 18 for fourth, 16 for fifth, 14 for sixth, then 12, then 10, then 8, then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for last. And then with an extra 3 points for fastest lap. Now, it's not like Formula 1 where you need to be in the top 10 to get that point for fastest lap. You can be in anywhere on the track, really. So if you crash out, there's still a chance you get 3 extra points for the fastest lap. So get into the pits, get the car fixed, and get back out there and set some hot laps, because you never know what could happen in the MotoMeerkat World Series. So always super duper amounts of fun. Now, everyone that's watching, thank you all for jumping in and getting involved. If you are enjoying so far, be sure to drop a like on the stream, as I always ask for. Again, does really help and just shows me that you're enjoying yourself, really. So yeah, thank you for jumping in and enjoying the stream and having a bit of a laugh with us. So it should be good fun. Now, the only real kind of proper rules for this endurance event, obviously similar rules to the MotoMeerkat World Series, so just be respectful of each other with your moves, things like that. Obviously, we've got damage is on, and today, unlike yesterday we didn't have fuel or tyres on, today we do. So the rule is, during the 40-minute race, each racer must pit once, and during that pit stop, they have to change all 4 of their tyres and add at least 10 litres of fuel. So I made the mistake of setting that as 1 for the MotoMeerkat World Series, which basically meant that everyone then just added 1, because it was the quickest strategy. Today could be a bit more interesting, as I've made the minimum 10, which now means we could see some different strategies going on, and people could decide, well, I'll add some extra fuel in to start with, so that I can be faster at the start, get ahead, and then go for a longer pit stop also go for a shorter pit stop, or they can instead add less fuel in the pit stop and then have more time on track. That hasn't made any sense. Let me repeat myself. They could either have loads in the start, which means that they're then slower on pace at the start and might fall back, but then means they have to spend less time in the pit stop. Or they can have less fuel in to begin with, get ahead with the raw pace, and hopefully make up for it on track with the longer time they're going to have in the pits refueling. There we go. I actually got it out correctly the second time and making sense. So, fantastic. And there's only about a minute left of this here practice session. So all the guys seemingly relatively working out this Laguna Seca track. Obviously, practice times mean nothing, but the man at the top of the table so far is Southless on 30 points, the full 30 out of 30, the only person to do it yesterday, and he is currently the fastest around Laguna Seca. So if he wins today, that is it. He has won the championship. But as I just read out and explained to you, the points are very, very, very close. So it's really all to play for here. It's really, really all to play for. So I hope you're just as excited as I am for it to all get underway very, very shortly. We'll be jumping into a 20-minute qualifying and then a 40-minute race. So as I said, this practice session is just them getting to grips with the car moving about, watching this cars. You can watch this runner, oh dear, as Harry goes wide. I was going to say slingshotting himself through the right-hander there, but instead slightly binned it on the edge of the corner. So Mike decided he wants to go back to the pits. Gaming Gamer doing very well. I was asked by a lovely man on Instagram to support Gaming Gamer. You've got a lot of Australian support, Gaming Gamer, so Oscar is really wanting you to win today, but he couldn't really stay awake. And it's 2021 there in Australia now already, isn't it? So fair play. But there we go. Gaming Gamer being cheered on by seemingly lots of people, and he's second so far in the standings on times, with Rahis in third, Todd in fourth, Finn in fifth, Racing Reviews there in sixth, Rundle in seventh, Jack in eighth, Arthur in ninth, who has stopped on track. Hopefully, yeah, there we go. Gone back to the pits. Devan Lures there in 10th. Sam's in 11th. Dan's in 12th. JW's in 13th. And then Ben's in 14th and CJ in 15th. But they're both so far off. I can't believe that they've set any sort of competitive time there. As there we go. We finish the practice session. And we will... oh, look at that! Gaming Gamer did pip Southless out for pole... well, it was only practice, but for the pole position of practice, just at the dying seconds of the session there. So we've got another 20 minutes on track starting right now. So here we go. This could be very interesting. We'll see as people get a bit more time to stick in some more competitive lap times. A bit more time to sort of wean out those mistakes. Get some consistency in this new car that they've, oh well, probably never really used before. Or at least never used it as in-depth as they are going to today. And they can try and get some grips, put some laps in. Get some decent times on the board as Sam outbrakes himself at the exit of the pit lane. Not a good omen there for Sam. Hopefully he doesn't get a pit exit penalty for that. But we'll see. As him and... Who was that in the Nissan? I'm going to get confused now because I'm not going to recognise people in all their different cars. Who was it in the Nissan? I can't quite remember who I gave that to. Well, when I say gave, randomly chosen. Ah, okay, it was Finn. So we've got Finn in the Nissan. So best of luck to him. Let's have a quick look. I'm going to get up my little book full of the names of everyone and what car they're in so that I make sure I don't have any kind of mistakes like those again. And we make sure that it's all kept under control. Everything is, well, hopefully seemingly kept under control on the stream. You can't see my camera, me freaking out, trying to fix loads of things. But we're all good at the moment. Project Cars 2, I don't want to jinx myself. Project Cars 2 has been nice to me so far. So let's hope during the race we don't get any sort of disconnections or anything. We've obviously got all 15 drivers in the lobby currently. Hopefully they're not kicked out between now and, well, the end of the race. NGM has said in the chat, will you deduct points for reckless/bad driving? Probably not deduct points, but yeah, there is a system in place for penalties after the race, so that'll be why I will probably not be able to speak to the winner of the championship on stream today, just because in case people do want to send in any clips after the race, I'll then need to take those into account to add on either seconds of penalties or place penalties, depending on the infringement that's involved. Hopefully the boys can save me that work and be kind and nice to each other out on track, but it's racing, stuff happens, we have disagreements, but the main aspect of this is just to have as much fun as possible. Do your best. Be respectful to the others. If someone's quicker than you, just have a race with them and have some good time. There's no need to be chucking any sort of silly moves in this. It's the Christmas Cup after all. It's Merry Christmas. We're all supposed to be happy with our families. Well, mostly all with our families. But yeah, just having a good time. So everyone chill. Everyone be relaxed. And yeah, hopefully no points to be deducted, NGM, mate. Hopefully, but we'll have to see by the end of the race, won't we? There we go. Southless puts in the first time on the board for 1:23.9, with Dan following him through with a 1:26.3. Oh, Simboy. Hello, mate. He says, hey, Moto, it's my birthday today. Well, happy birthday to you, Simboy. I hope you're doing well. And thank you for taking time out of your damn birthday to jump on my stream, mate. That really means a lot. Happy birthday to you. You got a present, and it was big. You opened up the big present and there was another box. There were like 10 boxes, and then when you opened the final one, there was a ticket to Silverstone. Wow, mate, that's amazing. What a present there is. Oh dear, VF to our Daniel goes straight off there as Finn sets a time of 1:25.0. So we'll actually switch over to Rahis in the Lamborghini, see how he's doing with that Irish TV logoed car. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you, Simboy. That is an amazing present, mate. Wow, I am very, very jealous. I still need to get my ticket for Silverstone Grand Prix next year. I keep putting it off because I don't really want to spend money, but I guess it's kind of what you got to do. I'm still trying to work out whether it's the best to get some like tents or like camping stuff sorted and go with my mates, or whether I just do it as a thing by myself and just go on the race day. And then also I don't know whether to spend the extra money to get grandstand, because although I would like a grandstand seat for the race, I would feel a bit depressing sat there in a grandstand like just chugging cans of beer by myself. So we'll have to wait and see. I need to think about that a bit more and plan it out with my friends and see what we can do there. But Simboy, my good friend, I am hoping that I will be going to the British Grand Prix this year. So if you see me there, remind me about this message and come and get a photo with me, mate. Get a photo, get a signature, whatever you want. And I'm planning on, if I do end up going to the British Grand Prix, or if it even does end up going ahead, I'm planning on doing a giveaway at the track. So it will be like first 3 people to find me get a mug or something like that. That's what I'm thinking. So Simboy, be on the lookout for me on the day, mate. You might spot a wild meerkat down by Maggots and Beckett's or something. Right, let's switch over. Who haven't we looked at yet today, really? We haven't really looked at Rundle. We haven't really looked at Divan Lure either in that Porsche. Currently in 8th position, 2.5 seconds off the pace, but only had 5 minutes out on track so far, as he goes a little bit wide there. Hopefully he doesn't... There we go, he goes back in the pits. I was going to say, hopefully he doesn't hold up any of the racers behind him. Let's have a look at CJ Pants in that Aston Martin. A beautiful little red and black livery there. MP Motorsport, obviously in Formula 2 and Formula 3, I believe, as well. Wow, that is a beautiful livery. A really, really mean-looking Aston Martin there. And see if he can do well, if he can translate that mean-looking car onto some solid pace on circuit. Ben Norris says, can you say Pogman Ben says good luck to Daniel, please, Moto? There you go, mate. Hopefully that was correct and right for you. But there we are. Daniel, Mr. VF to our Daniel, who is currently, there he is, in 8th position in the Mercedes-Benz AMG. He's got a couple of fans, it seems. Ben Norris, hoping that Daniel can do well in today's race. As I say, currently in 8th position on the timing board, but still got a lot of time of qualifying left. So don't rule him out yet. Could be nearer the front by the end of the session. Team DKR are in here as well. I'm assuming that's DKR Dory. Sorry you couldn't race today, mate. Obviously, we had Rahis taking DKR Dory's place in yesterday's race because he had a little bit of problems with his back. Said he was feeling better today, but I thought only fair if Rahis competed yesterday, he should have the possibility of racing again. He decided he would do in the Lamborghini, and there he is. In 3rd position, currently going a little bit wide of the right-hander. Seems to be catching a lot of people out today, that corner. But he's zooming in the Lamborghini in 3rd position there. So big up to Rahis. But Team DKR have said in the chat, 3 members from DKR are driving today. Obviously, as I said, Rahis, who is in, well, now 4th position. As who is that? Gaming Gamer in the Janetta tops the timing sheets there. Only 4 thousandths of a second quicker than Souther. Souther's going to be frustrated with that. But Gaming Gamer manages to top the timing sheet. But as I say, so much time yet to go. So no counting anyone out. As we said, Rahis is a DKR member, currently in 4th. So is Jack, who's currently sat there in 5th. And then Toddy Games in 7th. Also part of DKR family. So there you are, mate. DKR should be very, very happy with that. You're 3 of your drivers in 4th, 5th, and 7th. So doing very, very well. All in the top half. What is JW doing? He's obviously out there in the Bentley, but he's currently 22 seconds off the pace. I assume he just hasn't set a competitive time yet. I would hope so anyway. Let's see. He's going to come around the final corner here. Not sure if this is finishing a fast lap or possibly starting a new one. But let's see. As he comes across the line, see if he goes particularly faster. He does not. So I believe he will then be starting a quick lap right now. So let's jump onto his cockpit cam and watch a lap round Laguna Seca as we exit turn 1. That beautiful downhill flowing left-hander. The braking zone can catch people slightly out low. JW rather tight round that corner. I recommend a wide entry with then tucking it in late apex. And same on that corner as well, because otherwise you'll do just that. So you'll get thrown out wide. As I said, a lot of that corner catching a lot of people out today. And yeah, it will just throw you out wide onto the dust. And as soon as you hit the dust, you're completely fucked, really, because you're just going to get thrown further out wide and you're going to lose loads of speed, loads of momentum, and you're going to mess it up. He's taking that left-hander very nicely as we fly up the hill. I'm not sure why the dashboard says he's in neutral, because he's definitely not. Flies into the corkscrew, a little bit deep, manages to get it stopped, but does go wide, gets it on the grass, gets it all out of shape, just about gets it stopped down the hill, but a lot of places on this lap where he can improve. He's going to get it. Oh, dear. He's got it all wrong. Too tight on entry again, and he's going to reset the car. So we don't even get a full lap. Oh, dear. Oh, my goodness. Sam's screen's a bit crashed. A bit cracked there. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. And Rundle, his car's looking a little bit worse for wear there. Might want to pit if he wants to set a faster lap, but there we go. Each to their own, I guess. Let's have a switch over to watch Mr. Racing Reviews. Obviously one of our favourite YouTubers. And we obviously love him to bits. Now he's down in 10th at the moment. Raced the Nissan during the MotoMeerkat World Series, but today is out in that McLaren. One of the stronger... Oh dear, as he's binned it. Done a JW there. Binned it off wide, out the right-hander. You've got to be tucking back in with this track, otherwise it does punish you like that and just sends you out wide. So there you go. Yeah, Racing Reviews decides to come into the pits. So we'll switch over to Toddy Games in his BMW M6 to see how he's doing. Oh, Simboy says, first time going there. Nice, mate. I hope you enjoy Silverstone. I've been there a decent amount of times myself. It's a very, very nice track. And obviously the Grand Prix is always enjoyable. You'll meet so many motorsport fans. It will be such a laugh, mate. So I hope you really enjoy yourself. What you said, I sure will. I'm at club at the final turn, so if the Meerkat is there, I'll be sure to say hello. Yeah, mate, I'm not sure if I will get a seat or where I'll sit, but probably sort of around that section of the track, sort of the last few sections of corners. But I'll be roaming around all day. I'm sure I'll be meeting up with other YouTubers and motorsport people, so I'm sure you'll see me around somewhere. Just come up and say hi, come up and ask for a photo. I'll be more than happy to do so for you. Siddharth R has said JW is slower than Ferrari. Oh, that is an absolute burn on JW there. Still 14 seconds off the pace with that last lap. Done a 1:36.7. So hopefully again he can go a little bit faster than that. But Racing Reviews being very nice, allowing him through to continue his fast lap. As he absolutely smashes through a board there. He did it when he was on mid-line there, so I missed that. Was there one on the middle of the line, or did he just go off track and then re-enter? I don't really know, but hopefully he can get a bit faster, because he is 10 seconds off of the man in 14th place. So, come on JW, we believe you. Is the bet still on again today? Thank you very much to JW for donating £5 on the stream yesterday. Amazing. What an absolute champ. Hopefully that bet's on again today, so maybe last to first challenge for J-Dub there. Mate, JW, if you start 15th and win, you can have your £5 back, mate. I will more than happily give it back. That would be so incredible. You will have made the stream so good that I'm more than happy to pay that £5 back. But let's see, he comes into the final sector, the final few sections of corners, being followed by Rahis there in the Lamborghini. And we're less than 10 minutes to go now, only about 7 minutes, so not too long to continue setting these quick times. But let's see if JW can go any faster. He does indeed. Goes a lot faster, but only moves up into 14th place. Sadly, instead of now 14 seconds off the pace, he's now only 4. So 1 second quicker than Sam now, who is in 15th. but still a second off of Rundle in 13th. But it's so close on the timings in the mid-pack, it's actually a bit mad. But Gaming Gamer is still there in the Ginetta out front. 1.5 seconds faster than Southless, who's now just behind him there in the Renault. So, as I lie, Ben has just gone a hell of a lot faster in the Audi as he goes back into the pits, set a 1:23.0. So now only half a second off of Gaming Gamer, who's done a 1:22.5. Madness. The lowest times were in the 23s in practice, so incredible work from him there. Well done to Gaming Gamer for setting such a quick time. Let's see if he comes around and sets anything even quicker. I highly doubt it. And no, he doesn't. Stays at the same time, so well done to him. But he'll continue lapping. Just over 5-6 minutes to go in this qualifying session as he re-enters the pits there. So we'll switch back over to Southless. The guys in the top half sort of jostling and changing a little bit. We've got like a weird kind of little gap. We've got Gaming Gamer to then half a second to... There you go, Rahis just crosses the line and sets a faster time as well. He's dropped down into the 1:22s now. A 1:22.9 from Rahis. Says, oh dear, Ben has spinaled out of the pit lane there. Oh dear, Rahis is flashing JW to say, get out of the way, JW, get out of the way, as he does. Well done to JW there, moving out of the way of Rahis on his fast lap. But as we said, now a little cheeky battle at the front there as Gaming Gamer exits the pits on a 1:22.5. We then got Rahis on a 1:22.9, 4 tenths off of the leader. Then 5 tenths or half a second off is Ben in the Audi. Then we got a slight gap of 0.7 back to JWF1. I didn't even notice that. He's up into 4th position. Wow, go on JW. A 1:23.7 from him there, splitting the front runners from the rest of the pack and leading the charge of the guys that are sort of 1-2 seconds off. So we've got J-Dub, who's 1.2 seconds behind now. Then also Jack, who's 1.2 behind, so close between them. Only about 100th of a second, even less than that, half of 100th. Then we got Southless, who is leading the championship currently, but down in 6th at the moment. Can he go any faster in the last few minutes of the session? Then we've got Finn, who's 1.8. Then Todd, who's 2 seconds off. Divan Le, who's also 2 seconds. Racing Reviews, 2.2 off. Dan, 2.7 off. CJ Pants, also 2.7 off. Arthur, 2.8. Rundle, 3.3. And then Sam, 5.2, who has not been out for a little while. So I know he wasn't feeling particularly great like he did in yes. What just happened there? The McLaren... The McLaren just decided I could drive sideways now and just like levitated into the pit box. That was really weird. Anyway, as I said, Sam was not feeling particularly well in yesterday's stream, and again today said he wasn't feeling particularly fantastic. So hopefully he does feel better. Hopefully he can continue and do the race today. But I wish him the best of luck. But makes sense why his timing maybe isn't quite up to where he'd like it to be. So sad to see Sam down at the back of the grid there. Hopefully he can go out for another lap, but let's see if Jack can go any quicker in the caddy. He does not. Stays 5th fastest at the moment. Still only 1.5 hundredths of a second off of J-Dub in 4th, but what's that? Looks like, let me get the timings up, I think someone has a penalty. They do indeed. Ben Eansgeck, who we've just seen go off there, in the background of that, has got a grid place penalty from 3rd on the grid. Not great from him. So currently, that would really help JW, actually. It would move him up to 3rd place on the grid. So, very frustrating there for Ben, who's still off the road there. Hopefully, he doesn't get in the way of the Acura here. Does indeed get out of the way. Very sharpish. Good to see. But, yeah, frustrating for him. Possibly something to do with pit lane exit there, maybe. Or speeding in the pit lane, as sometimes gives it to you. I've just been absolutely thrown off. I can't even continue that sentence. DKR has just donated £10. Wow, mate. That's amazing. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. DKR Dory, buddy. That really, really means a lot, mate. Wow. £10. I've gone from yesterday never having anyone donate to my stream before to then JW donating £5 and DKR now donating £10. Amazing. Mate, that's incredible. That is incredible. Thank you so much. Be sure to go and check out DKR on, obviously, now you've given me £10. I've got to give you a shout out. Be sure to go and check them out on, like, Instagram, on the socials and stuff. Check them out on YouTube. Like, they do live streams and things like that of their racing, and they have racing leagues that you can compete in as well. Mate, DKR, I love you. Mate, I love you to bits. That's sick. Thank you so much for that donation. That's so awesome, man. So awesome. Sid Arthur says McLaren in next part of Tokyo Drift. Who's that referring to? That's Racing Reviews, isn't it? Down in 10th in that 650S GT3 car. It's an absolute beauty, but yeah, seemingly getting it a bit sideways. A little bit sideways. Ben, I've just seen you repeated your message. Can you make a song about Daniel saying he likes man buns? I think that's where I draw the line there, I'm afraid, Ben. Sorry, mate. I do apologise. No song about man buns today. Maybe if you donated a tenner like Team DKR, it could happen. No, I'm not going to bribe you. I'm not doing it, I'm afraid, Ben. I'm not doing it. Maybe, how about, if VF2R Daniel wins this race, I'll do a song about him winning and loving man buns. So there you go, I'll do that for you. But let's check the timings again, because I believe JWF1 also indeed now has a grid place penalty. So 2 people, Ben in 3rd still and JW in 5th with a grid place penalty. But let's switch over and have a look at people coming through to finish their final laps on the circuit. Let's stick the map and the speedo on, because why not? Gaming Gamer sets a new fastest lap to, I believe he has now finished off his session. He has indeed there with a 1:22.0. What a lap that was. But let's have a look. We've got Rahis coming through the final sector now. Can he go any faster to top the timing sheet? No, he stays in 2nd place. Gains half a second, but is still 3/10 off of the leader. Gaming Gamer there. Unlucky to him. But let's switch back. We've got a lot of people crossing the line now. Can Todd go any faster? No, he doesn't. He stays in 8th position. Who is this coming into the final sector of the track? Who's it going to be? Who is it? I can't find them. They're moving on to the straight now, so I need to find them relatively soon. And I can't find them. Lovely. It was Finn. Does Finn go any faster? He was in 7th and stays in 7th. Let's look back onto the final corner. Who's it going to be? There we go. It was Devan Lur, who was in 9th, 2.5 seconds off, and stays in 9th. No one really improving. As here we go. LSJ Runners on the back of the grid currently, 3.8 seconds off. Can he go faster? No, he doesn't. Rundle will be starting last, and I have just seen someone has been kicked out of the session. So that's not great. We're down to 14 runners. I don't know what's happened there or who that's happened to, but slightly frustrating as Racing Reviews comes across the line and doesn't quite go any faster. Who is it on the straight? There you go, the session's over. I don't think anyone really, I don't think anyone actually improved there at the end of the session, so clearly the track not really having any evolution particularly, but there we go. Oh my goodness, DKR has donated another £10. Mate, did your finger slip or something? Because I can, like, give that back. Oh my goodness, mate. Another tenner, Jesus. Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that. No worries. Thank you for putting this on and having us. Mate, I'm more than happy. You guys have been fantastic racers and fantastic to have along. So thank you for getting involved. But let's run through the grid for today's 40-minute race. We've got Gaming Gamer on pole, Rahis on 2nd, Southless 3rd, Ben in 4th, Jack on 5th, JW in 6th, Finn in 7th, Todd in 8th, Devan Lur in 9th, Racing Reviews in 10th, CJ Pants in 11th, Dan in 12th, Arthur in 13th, Rundle in 14th, and then Sam bringing up the rear in 15th. So luckily, we've got all 15 drivers back now. So let's switch over. I don't know why Ben's camera's the only one showing the full scene of the grid. But now we just wait for everyone to ready up. I think they've only got about 20 seconds or so left to be able to ready up. And then the game will sync together. Hopefully, we don't have any issues and we get underway. I am so excited for this, guys. I hope you all are too, for this race around Laguna Seca in GT3's. The finale of the MotoMeerkat Christmas Cup. Thank you to everyone who got involved. Whether you're playing, whether you're just watching and enjoying. And thank you so much to everyone for the donations as well. Honestly, incredible. Thank you, DKR. That has made my day. It made my week even. Nothing's happening in lockdown, so probably even made my month. There we go. Thank you, mate. And Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to not only you, but everyone else that is currently watching the stream. I believe 10 seconds down until they're all forced to ready up. Obviously, fixing their strategies, making sure their pit stops are all right, all ready to go. Interesting. We'll see what happens there midway through the race. But I believe now they should be forced to sink. There we go. We're about to get underway. 2 people have been sent to the pits. I don't know why that is, but the red lights should be coming on any second, and we'll see what happens to those people. Very odd. Here we go. The red lights come on. 5 red lights, we're about to get underway, and we are indeed going. A terrible start from JWF on there, from the 4th row of the grid, but we get underway. The Audi looking around the outside of Ben, but Gaming Gamer is able to stay in front. Looked like there was a bit of crashy going on in behind. They're all going to get jostled up into position. A bit of bumping into the first corner. The Acura touching the Bentley of JWF1, but no one getting spun round there. Luckily, we'll look back forward to Ben. He's going to go for the move up the inside of Rahis, but Rahis covers him off. Let's look back a little bit further, as not a crazy amount of lunges, at least, going on. We've got people actually following and actually battling quite nicely, which is good to see. But here we go. The BMW of Todd leading the Porsche there, and then the Renault of Southers. Southers up into 6th place there, with the Porsche going off of Divan Lure, cuts back across, but Southers is then hopefully going to look for the move up into the fast left-hander here. Is he able to do so? No. Divan Lure covers him off very nicely, gets a little bit of oversteer, steps out, but is able to stay ahead. South is now going to look for it into the corkscrew, but obviously thinks better of it. As a huge lock up by the Porsche. Someone's taken out all me cones. Who the bloody hell did that? Put them back, please. But here we go. Ending the first lap. Sadly, had 2 people leave the session, very annoyingly, but not much you can do. A side-by-side into this right-hander go the Bentley and the Mercedes. A little bit of touching, but the Bentley of Daniel makes it through up into 9th place just about, and JW has to settle with 10th, with CJ just behind him, then Sam, and then Rundle about 5 seconds off the back of the pack. Not so sure what happened to him there on that first lap, but commiserations. Hopefully he can change his strategy slightly and move back up through the pack. But we look back forward to the runners at the front. Gaming Gamer already with a slight lead here of a second, with Rahis following in that Lamborghini, with Ben Eansgeck just behind in the Audi, then Toddy Games right behind him. But look back here, we've got Divan Lure and Southless still battling away for 5th position. Divan Lure in the Porsche and Southless in the Renault. I thought he was going to go for the move there up the inside. Pressured Divan Lure very nicely, but wasn't quite able to get the move done. So let's have a look. Let's jump on to the cockpit. Here's the cockpit of Divan Lure, but here's the cockpit of Southless. We're going to watch on board with him as Divan Lure goes very slow. Southless dives up the inside already and has the move done even before the corkscrew. Incredible to see there. He's made it stick, and Divan Lure has already slightly fallen off. Not sure what happened there. And Southless is on the back of Toddy Games already. Gives him a little push, and Todd's stopping? What is going on there? Pushed Southless back, and now Divan Lure's back through. No idea what happened there, but there we go. Southless looks for the move back up the inside Divan Lure, but isn't quite able to make it work there, sadly. And Todd's able to pull back ahead of this battling pair. I don't know what happened there with the changing of speeds between people, but there we are. Don't really know what happened. Oh, mate, so frustrating. Jack and Finn both in the chat saying that they've been kicked. Honestly, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry that you put in all that effort for then the game just to tell you to piss off. If I could have done anything about it, I would, mate. I'm so frustrated for you there, guys. But there's not much I can do because everyone's done the qualifying. We can't restart because it would just mean random grids. So it's super difficult, and I'm so sorry to you guys there, mate, because I would have been really excited to see you two involved in the race because you're both fantastic racers. So really annoying there. I do apologise. But don't worry, we'll have lots of open lobbies and possibly more MotoMeerkat World Series stuff in the future. So I'll definitely be sure to get you both involved because it's always fantastic to have you out on track. So again, I really apologise about that, guys. I'm terribly sorry. So blame whatever the people are that, what is it, Mad Studios, whatever they are that made this game. Blame them for making a shit game. That's on them. That's on them. I am sorry. I do apologise. But let's look forward No crazy battling going on particularly. This is definitely the big pack on track. As I say that, Southless looks like he could make the move on Divan Lur. Going to go around the outside at the final corner. Can't quite get it done there, so he's going to look to hopefully make a bit of a switchback. But now they've got Racing Reviews, the bright orange McLaren of Racing Reviews, just behind them as they go over the line to start lap 4. Lap 4 of this beautiful race. And we're already 5 minutes in. Should be very interesting. In here for the long haul. A 40-minute race with, as I said before, mandatory pit stops for fuel and tyres. As all Divan Lur not getting a very good exit. Harry's been able to switch over to the inside. Divan Lur brakes very late though and is able to cut back up in and take the position as... Oh, that is the Acura of Arthur, I believe that is, going very slowly and allowing people through. So... Not sure if he's pitted early. I'm not sure if I can even check that. If I go into timings. No, I can't check it, sadly. Which is annoying. But no, there we are. So I'm not sure what happened to what's happening to Arthur there. He's about a minute behind now. So that would lead me to believe that he might have pitted. But equally, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. But here we go. We've got Toddy Games in that BMW. Being then followed by Divan Lur, who's then got Southless behind him, and Racing Reviews only just behind him. And there's a bit of space in front of Todd to the front runners, who all have like a second or two between them. And then there's a bit of space behind Racing Reviews, back to Dan and CJ Pants and Rundle and all that lot. But if I look over here, Rundle and... Oh dear. Rundle and JW looked like they were having a battle, as they were within about 2/10 of each other. I think they might have just been going into the corner, hence why they were grouped up so much suddenly. So we'll switch back to this 5th place battle. Hopefully the game sounds a little bit better on stream today than it did yesterday, because the noise from my Xbox was a lot lower yesterday. I turned it up today. I've not quite doubled it, but I think I've turned it up a decent amount. So hopefully you should hear the roaring of these GT3 engines as they go past our manned camera points. Like there. So hopefully that sounded great for you guys on stream. As I wanted to hopefully try and increase the realism a tad. As oh dear, Southless makes a mistake there. Runs wide, exiting that long flowing left-hander, and loses a little bit of time out to his rival Divan Lur ahead. This could be interesting. I don't know how to work out the points though, because the positions are obviously going to keep changing, and it's going to be a bit difficult for me to work this out. But Gaming Gamer currently leads the way out on track today. So let's have a look. I'm going to get the I'm going to keep a close eye on how close people are on track. I just think that I've had a response from Beth saying "told you" on Twitter, which means I think that Mr. Aiden F1 has actually just run a marathon with no training. What a legend! How has he just done that? His legs will be jelly for the next like week, I bet. Poor bloke, what an idiot. There we go. Team DKR did say in the live chat, Arthur did in fact pit. So Arthur has made a very, very early pit stop there in the Acura. But we'll be losing time because he'll be having blue flags as he... Oh dear, he's gone off there as well. So losing time for going off and losing time with blue flags. As here, he hopefully allows the drivers through. Just about. Oh my goodness. Just lets him through and just doesn't crash into him. So good to see there from Arthur. Well done, sir. We look back to the front. As I said, Gaming Gamer still leading this race. So let me just get up the current standings from yesterday. So Gaming Gamer is currently in 11th place on 12 points. So currently he doesn't have the fastest lap, but he does have the win, which would be 25 points, which would increase him to 37 points. Now, Southless is currently in 6th place. Now I have to switch over to a different document to see the point system, so I'm going to copy that over so I can do a little bit of deeper, extra analysis without having to go back and forth, back and forth. Right, let's have a look. That's pasted over now, finally. So, with that 6th place that Southless now has, he would get 14 points, which would take him to 44. So he would indeed... No, he would still beat Gaming Gamer. So, yeah, Southless needs to do a bit worse, and Gaming Gamer needs to do a bit better, but I can't be working it out for everyone, for Rahis, for Ben, for everyone like that. It's not going to happen. My math skills are far too shocking to be doing that while on stream. So, yeah, we'll ignore that for the time being. Let's look back to this battle. Racing Reviews now about 2 seconds off of the battle for 5th between Divan Le and Southless. Bit frustrating for him there, but hopefully he can begin to put in the pace as Divan Le goes wide, exiting the last corner, pulls across to try and cover Southless off, but it's going to be close between them, squeezes Southless into the wall, but Southless is able to stay ahead, keeps his nose in, they touch as they go into the first corner, Divan Le goes very deep, Southless, both of them locking up, sliding out wide, but Southless has made the move stick. There we go, taking 5th place, finally from Divan Le. Seems like he's had the pace over Divan, but to be fair to Duke, been great at defending and has kept him behind, but not anymore. Southless, the championship leader, has indeed been unleashed, and that's not great for everyone else that's competing for the championship currently. But great for Southless. He's loving it. He's unleashed, and he's already pulled about half a second over Divan Le, possibly even more than that. It's only been about half a lap. So we'll see if he can start putting in the pace here in his Renault to catch up with the man in front, that is Todd E. Games, as he enters the corkscrew in his BMW M6, putting in some decent pace here, and he's currently all the way down in 10th place in the championship on 16 points, so probably not going to be taking the win of the championship today, but still doing a valiant effort there in the BMW, a car he's used before in GT3 and a car that he's won in before in GT3 as well. So fair play to him, but let's see how he can do on this pace. The gap between Rahis and Gaming Game out front does seem to be going down, with Rahis putting in consistent high 24s, but Gaming Gamer putting in consistent low 25s. So could possibly see later into this race a battle for first there. So it could get very, very interesting. And also, as you see there, you can see Ben in the Audi, only a couple of seconds ahead of Todd, who's in 3rd place. Ben is, Todd in 4th. So again, the battle's hotting up left, right, and centre here. Wow, this could prove to be a really, really interesting race. But just look at that. Look behind. Southless has got 1.5 seconds over Divan Le already and is chasing down Todd as we speak. So we'll keep a good eye on that. But Sim Boy is still here. Said, the shouty man ran a marathon? That's amazing. I believe so. So fair play to him. Big shout out to the shouty man himself, Mr. Aiden F1, for running a marathon. That is insane. If I did a 5K, I would be ecstatic in myself. Like, especially after this new lockdown. Toddy Games is going slow. Toddy Games is going slow. He's made a mistake. Southless looking for the move up the inside. Can't quite make it done. He's going to be on the outside for the final corner. Todd slows it down, parks it on the apex to make sure that Southless can't get a better exit than him, and stays ahead for now. But suddenly they have closed up. This could prove very, very interesting here. And we'll see Southless continue to track down Toddy Games and try and make this move as he goes very deep into the first corner there. Very, very hot on the brakes. But it does still look like they're catching up with Ben in 3rd. Down to about 2 seconds, that gap now between 3rd and 4th. However, looking back out front, the gap is extended by about a second between Gaming Gamer in 1st and Rahis in 2nd. And it's continuing to increase now. Up to 4 seconds now, so I'm not sure what has happened to Rahis there. He did a 24.6 last lap, which is a respectable time. Gaming Gamer did a 24.1. That's amazing. The fastest lap in qualifying being a 24.0, I believe, so really, really putting in the pace there, even with the higher levels of fuel. But also, Rahis does have a red dot by his name. So let's switch over to the standings. So Sam Malicious, who's down in 12th, has a 3-second penalty currently, which shouldn't matter too much. But Rahis in second has a 2-second penalty. He's still, what is that? 8 seconds ahead of Ben in third. However, you never know what could happen, and that 2 seconds could really mean something later on in the race. How have I not noticed that? Southers has overtaken Toddy Games. I have no idea when that happened. It could have happened in the background while we were doing that. But he's already a sizable margin ahead of him too. So, oh my goodness, Ben's binned it. Ben is off. Ben Eansgeck bins it by himself in the Audi. Drops down to 5th position here. Oh dear for Ben. Dropping out of the podium places, but on a mistake all by himself. There he is, down to 5th. Hopefully he can continue putting his pace that he had in earlier and catch back up to those boys, but absolutely sad for him. Racing Reviews was just behind that little gaggle of cars, comes out of the pits, does his one mandatory pit stop for tyres and fuel, and he's going to be relatively close there to Divan Lur, who has also pitted, I believe. So they're going to come out right side by side. Racing Reviews could jump him here, moves over to the inside to cover off, and does indeed jump Divan Lur for position on track. So that could be a good, interesting battle to watch. And also JWF1 there in his Bentley, exiting the pits as well. So see where he comes out. Should be about near Sam, it looks like, as Sam comes onto the pit straight. I'm not sure if Sam has pitted yet. So I'll have to wait and see until sort of 10 minutes to the end of the race, see where the positions are and see who has done what. But let's switch back over to these guys at the front. Obviously, Southers now ahead of that gaggle of cars with the passing of Todd, and then Ben binning it by himself. As there we go, we see JW exit the pits just behind Sam. You can see him in the distance going around the right-hand corner, but just ahead of Southless, which means if Southless has the pace here, as he goes, oh dear, a little bit wide, kicking up a lot of dust there. But if he does catch up with JW, it really depends on how nice JW and Sam are feeling for whether they allow him through easily or hold him up a tad. Obviously, we don't like to see anyone holding each other up, but like if it's accidental, it's acceptable. It becomes quite obvious when it's when you're doing it on purpose. So don't even bother trying that, because you will be instantly disqualified, guys. So don't bother. Not that I would think that any of you would ever do that anyway. Don't worry. I think you're all fantastic. But obviously, oh dear, I've just seen Arthur Formula 1 has left the session from 13th. So there we go. No points for Arthur, sadly. But as I was going to say, Southless in 3rd, and Sam, who is in 11th, but who's leading this sort of pack of cars currently. The two in front are a lap down. Southless and Sam are both from a little island called Guernsey. Well, I would usually say, oh, unlucky, Guernsey. But Guernsey doesn't seem to have many coronavirus restrictions, and I'm in Tier 4. So at this point, I've just kind of got to say, fair play. Kind of wish I was in Guernsey at this point, to be honest. I would like some freedom, but there you go. Enjoy it while you can, boys. Let's switch over, actually, to have a look at Sam and JW, who are the closest two guys on track. Hold on a second. I thought it was. Wait, no, it's not. Okay, no. I'm wrong. Who is it that's very close together? It is indeed Divan Lur and Racing Reviews. Now, Racing Reviews came out ahead of Divan Lur, but it's now behind him. So, Divan Lur's clearly made a great move somewhere, but we have missed it on the stream, I'm afraid. I need to keep a better watchful eye, don't I, really? As JWF1 makes the pass on Sam, finally. Through that flowing left-hander. Gets it done. I thought it looked like at least one of them was going to bin it there, but luckily doesn't, as Sam does indeed allow Harry through. No, he doesn't. Yeah, I guess that is a way of letting Harry through, binning it and going completely straight on there. Well on Sam, as he rejoins back on track, not hitting anyone, and is now down in last place as Arthur has left the session. And we're left with 12 runners. So there we are. JW not quite having a last to first challenge here. He actually did pretty well in qualifying there, getting some decent times in the end, but the race not quite gone as well as we would hope. So unlucky to JW there. Wish you the best of luck further on in this race, mate, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. But here we go. We'll switch back to Divan Le and Racing Reviews. Two guys who have already made their pit stop in this race. But we haven't actually yet seen the leaders come in for their pit stops at all. As they move on to lap 14 of today's race. And we are practically officially halfway through today's race, with quite a few of the field already making their mandatory pit stop, but also quite a few that haven't. I think we're still at about half and half as we're halfway through the race, so very fitting there, very, very fitting. As now I'm just sort of watching out on the left-hand side to see if anyone will indeed come into the pits. But Racing Reviews has closed back up to Divan Le here in the Porsche. Remember, they are fighting over 7th position, but there's a couple of people ahead who still have not pitted. So this will probably be more like sort of, what are we thinking? 6th position they're fighting over? Or 5th? Actually, no, more 5th position they're fighting over, I believe. But honestly, they were so close to the people that were ahead of them at the time that they pitted, that if they're putting in decent pace here, they could easily catch up with those guys or even jump them in the pit stop. So I'm wondering whether the overcut or the undercut is going to be stronger here. As, oh dear, Sam has now left. So we're down to 11 runners in today's race. Obviously, we saw him bin it at the final corner there. Kind of seemed like he'd already given up at that point, and now he definitely has. So there we go. I have noticed out front, let's have a look, as Gaming Gamer goes on to lap number 16 for him. If you look just in the background is Rahis in 2nd position, now 1.6 seconds off of the leader. Obviously, earlier, last time he checked, it was over 4. So he really has caught up there. Now, the Aston Martin that's just behind is CJ Pants, who's down in 9th position. Looks like, I believe he's probably pitted. Looking at where he is and the timing that he's lost, yeah, I think that looks about right. So I believe now, Divan Le, Racing Reviews, CJ Pants, Dan, and JW have all pitted. But then Rundle, who's ahead now in 6th, I don't think he's pitted yet. Ben, I don't think he is pitted either. He's running just behind Todd. There you can see they'll be battling on track for 4th position, with Southus now almost going out of sight of them, about 4 seconds ahead of that pack of Gaming Gamer and Ben, but not really catching up to the back of JW. They're doing relatively similar pace, both in the 25s, which is good to see. Rahis on that final lap where we said he caught up to only 1.5 off the leader, did a 23.6 while Gaming Gamer did a 25.1. So that'll be why, but this lap, Gaming Gamer's clearly been a lot faster and has eked the gap back out to about 2.5 seconds. So hopefully we can see a battle out front here, but it will all depend on what strategies these guys are going to be playing in the pit stops. So we'll have to see that as well. As, oh dear, I'm definitely not singing your song about man buns, mate, because VF2R Daniel has just left the session as well. So we're down to 10 runners for today. Still, 10 is a very, very nice number. A very, very nice number indeed. Still loads of people out on track, loads of battles going on. And Ben, to be fair, after his little bin in the Audi, still in 5th, and is only about a second off of Todd here. There could be a battle hotting up there, but let's look back to what is currently 7th position. Divan Le with Racing Reviews just behind, following him. I want to check the timings. I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure why it says that Divan Le is a minute and 4 off the leader when Racing Reviews is only a minute and 3 and Racing Reviews is behind him. Doesn't really make sense, that, does it? But there we go. That's just Project Cars being a great game. As we know and love. What a game Project Cars really is. Oh, mate. Sudha Sradhar's Friendly Kitchen. I hope I didn't mess up that name too much, mate. Just to let you know, you spelt kitchen wrong, by the way. Kitchen has a T after the I and before the C. Not sure if that was a mistake that you meant to do, but just letting you know in case it isn't. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name too much. He says, guys, please watch the ads without skipping if possible. It gives the creator 0.1 USD extra per ad view. That is very, very kind of you, mate. Very kind of you to very kind of you to even think about sitting through an ad so that your creator gets a penny or 10 pennies more per ad. That's very kind of you, but honestly, mate, it's no big a deal. I'm not doing this for the money. Any money I get is just a bonus, really. So thank you for that, mate. I do really appreciate that, but don't feel like you need to. Really don't feel like you need to. I skip every ad when I'm watching YouTube because I'm not going to watch a 30-second ad. I'm just not. So that's completely fair. It's completely fair. Just the skipping after 5 seconds still gives me a bit of money. So even just watching my content, I'm super happy about and super grateful that you would give up some of your time out of your day to do so. So thank you so much. But let's look forward back to this battle of Todd and Ben. Ben has now closed up a little bit more than he even was. Only about 6-7 tenths between them now. So could we see a change for position on track? Currently battling for third. But obviously, don't forget, we can now see Southus has just come out of the pits there. He was ahead of those two on track. And obviously, Divan Lure and Racing Reviews, who were slightly behind in 6th and 7th, were also right near them on track. So, oh dear, Todd's got a bit wide, kicks up some dirt, loses a bit of speed there. Ben's going to try and make the most of it as he does. Goes for around the outside and Todd decides to cut his losses and dive into the pit lane with only 15 minutes to go in today's race as Ben carries on down the pit straight into third position. About 25 seconds off of today's leader, Gaming Gamer, who's still doing well, still lapping well. Done a 23.9 last lap. That is incredible. What a lap from him, really putting in the pace and eking out his lead to over 4.5 seconds now over Rahis. Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. Well done to you, mate. Let's look back down. There you go. I believe Rundle has now pitted as well. He's come out in 8th position, about 10 seconds ahead of CJ Pants in 9th in that Aston Martin there, and about 10, 12 seconds behind Racing Reviews and Divan Lure ahead. So he's probably going to have a little bit of a lonely race carrying on, but Rundle, you're doing a good job, mate, in 8th there. Well done. Let's look back. I don't even know what to focus on now. Well, I think we'll definitely focus on this Divan Lure Racing Reviews battle. So now we've got Toddy Games behind Southus, who's obviously pitted, and he is... So Southus has indeed come out ahead, only about 2 seconds, so they're still very close to each other. They're definitely closer than they were when they did pit, and oh dear, look at that. Divan Lure has indeed got a penalty, a 1 second penalty for Divan Lure there. So as long as Racing Reviews, he doesn't even need to pass him now. As long as Racing Reviews is within 1 second at the end of the race, he will indeed take that 6th position away from Divan Lure. But we'll keep watching them, we'll keep having a look at their fight, and we'll keep seeing how that happens and what does end up happening by the end of the race. Who takes those extra few points for 6th position as Divan Lure runs wide, loses some speed on the gravel, but not enough for Racing Reviews to take advantage. Is it? He's braking very weirdly there. Racing Reviews slings it up the inside. A bit of tap, a bit of barging there, and he does make it through just about. Racing Reviews takes the 6th position away from Divan Lure through the corkscrew. Very, very good effort there. But as you will see, I believe it is, Gaming Gamer, the leader of today's race, yet to pit, is coming up behind. And he dives into the pit lane. There we go. The leader has entered the pit lane for today's race. He was going to come up behind Divan Lure and Racing Reviews, but not quite done so, as somehow I've missed Divan Lure going back up the inside of the McLaren of Racing Reviews there into the final corner. Very well done from Divan Lure. Has some decent pace and is making some very, very decent moves. Now, who is it? Gaming Gamer's in the pits, obviously. He wasn't in there for very long there. Hopefully he did indeed change his tyres and add fuel like he's supposed to. We'll see after the race. Obviously, I can't check that, so people will just have to be nice and be truthful and be honest. But yeah, hopefully he did. So there you go. Rahis has now taken the lead of this race, behind the back marker of Rundle currently. Hopefully that doesn't dissuade his pace too much. And he can then pit and bring the battle for first to Gaming Gamer, but we'll wait and see when they come out of the pits. And we're still waiting on Ben to pit as well from third position. So it's just now Rahis who's in first and Ben who's in third that still need to pit today. But let's look back to the only real battle that's going out on track. Divan Lur versus Racing Reviews still for this 6th position. Both of them have now pitted, and they seem to just be making slight mistakes, each of them, I think, at some points throughout the lap, and closing up, and then getting further away again, then closing up, getting further away, and so on and so on and so on, really. So there we go. But have a look at that. Rundle is coming on the straight there. There you go. I said he might have a bit of a boring race. But he's really caught up to the back of Divan Lur and Racing Reviews. It was, what, 12 seconds before? It's now only 5. So there we go. Put in some serious pace there. Lapping about 2 seconds a lap quicker. So he's still got 10 minutes to do it. He's still got 10 minutes to possibly catch up with those guys and get a few extra places. So well done to Mr. Rundle there, and best of luck to you, sir. But there we go. Yeah, Gaming Gamer's already gone past Rahis, who is in the pits waiting. Ben goes past him as well. I refuse to believe that Gaming Gamer pitted for fuel and tyres there. Rahis is still stopped. Interesting. Because the gap was, what, 5 seconds? And it's now going to be a hell of a lot more than 5 seconds. So I'll have to have a look at that at the end of the race. But we'll still, obviously, we can have doubt. But he is innocent until proven guilty. So Gaming Gamer, with a great stop there, out in first position still. And can't take it away from him, has been fantastic all race. So we're just now waiting on Ben to pit for fuel and tyres, of course. Rahis then in second, now 17 seconds off of the leader, with another 15 seconds back to Southless in fourth, which will be a net third, I believe. And then behind, Toddy Games was hoping there could be a bit of a scrap between Southless and Todd, but Southless has again slightly driven away from Todd, had the slightly better pace, and to be fair, has the slightly better car. So well done to both Southless and Todd, putting in some decent pace today. As Racing Reviews, there we go, looks for the move, a bit of tangling, and LSJ Rundle could make this a three-way battle here as he joins the back of the pack already. Was 5 seconds off last lap, and now he's right there battling with them. He's going to go for the move up the inside of Racing Reviews, gives him a tap. Racing Reviews is able to keep it on the track, but watch out, boys. Oh no, Rundle spun it. Rundle spun it, no! Oh, Rundy, mate, that was it. JW's now going to catch up to the back. Oh no, he's not quite close enough, to be fair, but oh, Rundle, mate, what have you done? You were there in the sprint race yesterday, ready to take the win, and you binned it by yourself and lost out. And this time you binned it trying to pass Racing Reviews and just spinaled it by yourself. That is so sad, Rundy, mate. Unlucky. You could have got sick there. Your pace was class. But unlucky, mate. You're going to have to stick with 8th position, it seems now. Only about 7-8 minutes left of today's race. But there we go. Ben comes out of the pit lane. I believe, yeah, it's already behind Todd, so not going to be crazy close or any sort of battling there with Todd. Going to be a few seconds off. And Divan Lur and Racing Reviews are again another chunk of time behind, just coming across the line now. But Ben's already going to be out of the first sector almost, so there you go. A bit of gap now between those guys. So, let's have a little look through our running order while we can. It looks like Racing Reviews has already almost caught back up to Divan Lur. Fair play there. So let's have a run through the order currently. We've got Gaming Gamer, who's still in the lead of today's race. We've got Rahis in second. Southless there in third. Toddy Games in fourth position. Ben Eansgeck there in 5th. All of those three going through the corkscrew relatively simultaneously. Then Divan Lur there in 6th, being followed closely by Racing Reviews. Then we've got Rundy down there in 8th position. JWF1 in 9th. And then CJ Pants bringing up the rear in 10th. Not sure exactly what happened to him there, falling back to last position behind JW. But he's got the leader, Gaming Gamer, coming up behind him. So let's hope we don't see any crazy moves there from CJ, and we see him allow the race leader through with no issues at all. Is always nice to see. It looks like he's going to get through Gaming Gamer, just about. Is able to get through past the back marker of CJ. Makes it look easy, easy work. DKR has said in the chat, I'm on comms with Rahis. We did 10 litres and tyres. The gap to Gaming Gamer when we pit was 4.5. The gap now is 15 seconds. Yes, I agree with you, DKR. I don't think that Gaming Gamer added any fuel. I think he might have just changed his tyres. So I think what we'll have to do there is put in probably, I'd say, a 10-second penalty. About that, 10 or 15 seconds. And I believe with Rahis's penalty, yeah, he's got 2 seconds. That will probably still mean that Rahis will be behind in second. But kind of just robbed us of a good final bit of the race, hasn't it there? Bit sadly, but there we go. Let's have a look at the Divan Lure versus Racing Reviews battle. Only 5 minutes to go now, and Divan Lure knows it. Keeping on the defensive line there to try and keep Mr. Racing Reviews, Dan the Grosjean man, behind and trying to keep his 6th position in that Porsche. He does run wide there slightly. Going to lose a little bit of pace, but nothing too crazy, and is able to keep Racing Reviews behind as we speak. Let's have a quick look as these two are battling. I'm going to quickly look ahead to these guys. So we've got about 6 seconds between Southers back to Todd, and then about 3 seconds back to Ben. So we'll see if Ben can put in any late race pace to try and catch up to Todd. Maybe still that 4th place, but he'll have to pull it out of the bag to do that. But I'll keep a watchful eye over the times on the left-hand side, don't you worry. But we're still currently looking at this battle for 6th. Somehow, Rundy is putting in the pace of a madman, doing a 23.9 last lap, and has caught almost all the way back up to this 6th place battle between Divan Lure and Racing Reviews. As Divan Lure goes wide, allows Racing Review to move to the outside. Going to go for the move here on the right-hander. He's still there on the outside, but can't quite hold it. Tries to keep his nose in, but can't do so, and has to continue following behind Duke. But there you can see the yellow BMW of Rundy still lurking in the background, still wanting to join in this battle for 6th. And if he is able to make that work, that will be just insane. As how is his pace so good? Racing Reviews has fallen slightly off the rear of Divan Lure, and that has allowed for Rundy to practically catch back up already. Has a full 180 spinala and a rejoin, and still moves up close to this battle as Racing Reviews goes for the send in the right-hander, goes past. It looks like Rundy could go for it on Divan Lure as well. 2 corners and Divan Lure can lose 2 spaces. Luckily for him, doesn't quite happen there, but he gets a great exit and is going to look to hopefully make the move on Racing Reviews there. They're going to go side by side across the finish line. Only 3 minutes to go in this race, and he could make the move all the way around the outside into the first corner. Gets it stopped, but it's all slidey, loses it, and that allows for Rundle to take advantage of the lack of grip that he has, and steams past into 7th place. Fantastic to see for Rundy, and he's now going to try and take the fight to Racing Reviews, but not if Duke has anything to say about it. He's still right behind there. All 3 of them wanting to take these positions here. Racing Reviews moves over to cover off the inside. Fantastic to see this racing as Rundy looks for it round the outside, trying to make the move stick. Keeps his nose in there a little bit better than Racing Reviews did previous lap, but are they going to stay side by side through here? This is a recipe for disaster, and Rundy goes off, goes wide, and Racing Reviews just about covers Duke off. That was a little bit aggressive there from Racing Reviews, but manages to keep Duke behind, and Rundy falls back down to 8th position. What has happened there? Right, while we have a gap, let's look forward to Duke and Ben, who are also battling. Only 2 minutes to go in this race, and it's all hotted up here. This is mental. Ben is right on the back of Todd, going for the move there, but we've got to switch it back to this battle between 3 of them. Divan Lure retaking the position for 7th, is trying to keep Rundy behind, is just about doing so far as Racing Reviews gets a terrible exit. I think is just going to be able to keep it there, but then Rundy and Divan Lure still side by side, squeezing Rundy into the wall, and they're going to go off! Huge crash! Absolutely massive crash on what will be almost the final lap, the penultimate lap of the race, and Divan Lure and Rundy are both off. Both off. Huge amounts of damage for them. That sucks, but it's great for JW. He's up into 7th, and Racing Reviews can sit happy now in 6th position. So now no longer need to watch that battle, as those two have messed it up completely between the two of them. Very aggressive there. Divan Lur was holding Rundy up against the pit wall, but it all ended in tears, didn't it? They locked together and suddenly, boo, they were in the wall. Very unlucky for both of them. Sad to see they'll be finishing the race at the back, basically. But here we go. Look at that. Ben goes for the move on the outside of Todd. He could have done that as well. Gets a good exit and moves ahead before they even make it to turn 1. As we go on to what I believe will be the last lap of today's race. This is fantastic. Oh, Todd going for the move again. Trying to make it around the outside, but can't quite make it stick. Those tyres clearly looking worse aware, getting thrown out to the exit of the corner, but he's going to look for it. The dive bomb at the inside does indeed make it work. I thought he was going to have to lean on Ben a little bit there, but doesn't, and Ben gives him the room and is able to keep it around the outside. Looks like Todd might do the same again. He is indeed through the fast-throwing right-hander and makes it stick. Ben going a little bit wide, keeping his pace though. Is he going to go for the dive bomb here? He's not. He thinks better of it. Todd keeping central to the track, making sure that he keeps his line. He keeps all in front. And it's all good for now, about halfway through this final lap, and this is the battle on track to be watching. We've got Racing Reviews and JW relatively close, but not nearly as close as this battle between Todd and Ben. Going into the corkscrew, Ben is still too far back to make any sort of move. If we look back forward, the time is over, and I believe Gaming Gamer... No, he's still racing there. Right, this is not the last lap. Gaming Gamer is now on the last lap, so we're going to have one more lap of racing to watch. This is going to be fantastic. Todd stays ahead of Ben, just about keeping his 4th place here in the BM, but Ben's going to look for it in the Audi, gets late on the brakes, into the final corner, parks it on the apex and stays ahead. But both of them not really getting a great exit, so Ben is able to stay ahead, as I do believe they go onto the final lap of today's race. Fantastic to see, as look at that. Oh my goodness, I was going to switch over, but Todd goes for an ascend into the first corner, and oh dear, bit of a tap there from the Audi behind, to be fair. Not much either of them could really do there, so another brilliant move. This is absolutely amazing to see on the last lap of today's race. Some proper sends from Todd and Ben, but have I just noticed, Todd has a 1-second penalty, so he needs to clear Ben by a second to actually get the position on him, but we don't care. It's great watching it on track, but have a look forward. Gaming Gamer takes the win of today's race. We'll have to have a look at any penalties after the race, but I think even with those, he will still win today's race, so massive congratulations to him. Rahis there crosses the line to take second. Southless will finish 3rd even, but let's have a look back to this battle for 4th place. Todd is just about keeping ahead here, but I think Ben knows I've just got to stay behind here to I've just got to stay within a second here to get this 4th place. Can he do so? Todd's going to go a little bit wide there, but seems to be okay. Keeping the speed through the final sector. Only about half a second between them currently. But Ben looking like he could go for the move anyway into the final corner. Looks for it around the outside. Going to try and switch back to get a good exit, but I don't think that's going to work. But it doesn't matter anyway. Todd's going to come across the line in 4th on track with Ben in 5th, but they will be flipped on the standings because of Todd's 1-second penalty. Fantastic battling from those boys in the final few laps. But look back, we've still got another battle between Racing Reviews and JWF1 into the final sector. I'm not sure JW is going to have anything in it here to be able to take the battle to Racing Reviews. Racing Reviews goes really tight on that corner. Can JW do anything from far back? He goes for it round the outside. He's going to try and cut it back here, but I don't think it's going to work. And Racing Reviews is going to stay ahead and claim that 6th position in his McLaren. Very well done to all of the guys out on track there, and there you go. You can see there the final standings of today's race. A very, very well done to everyone racing today. But I think we can pretty safely say that Southless will be crowned the champion of the MotoMeerkat Christmas Cup. Fantastic to see there from Southless. A very good effort. So let's just run through the leaderboard from today's race. So, who've we got here? We've got Gaming Gamer winning today's race in the Ginetta. Rahis finishing 2nd in the Lamborghini. Southless in 3rd in the Renault. Ben in 4th in the Audi, Todd in 5th in the BMW, Racing Reviews in the McLaren in 6th, JW coming in 7th in the Bentley, a valiant effort from him. Then CJ Pants in 8th in the Aston, and then Divan Lur in 9th in the Porsche, and Rundle in 10th in the BMW. So sad for those two colliding near the end. But let's switch it back to the beautiful picture of me face. I hope you all enjoyed that race. It was quite incredible, quite long, but we still enjoyed it very much. It really was all worth it, even for those last few laps. Those last few lap dashes at the end were incredible, and just some brilliant racing. So absolutely fantastic to see there. But as we said, I believe it will be announced on my Instagram tonight of the full championship order from the MotoMeerkat Christmas Cup. But I just want to say, before I end this stream off, thank you all so much for getting involved. Whether you were racing or whether you were just watching, I appreciate you so much for getting involved and allowing me to do fun things like this on stream. Like, it takes a lot of effort, so that's why I really appreciate you liking the streams and subscribing to my channel. But I do them because I have a load of fun. So thank you so much. Also, massive shout out to DKR, Team DKR, DKR Dore, whatever you want me to call you, for donating £20 on this stream. Absolutely incredible. So thank you, mate. That, like, spurs me on so much. Like, I don't have much money, so that really helps, especially as a student. So thank you, mate. Means a lot. I've just seen in the chat, Gaming Gamer says, Meerkat wait. I want to thank everyone. Well, there you go. You've thanked everyone, mate. Thank you for getting involved, Gaming Gamer. You were great today. Sadly, well, not sadly. Why am I saying that? Sadly for everyone else. Great for you. You did fantastically in the race. Not sure about your pit stop, mate. I'm going to have to grill you a little bit there. But, yeah, still a fantastic effort. Some brilliant pace. And you did indeed get the fastest lap with a 1:22.7. Amazing from you there. So cool. Thank you to everyone who got involved. I hope you all really enjoyed yourself watching these streams, and I hope I've been animated enough and you've enjoyed my little headgear. So there we go. I'll be sure to do loads more open lobbies in future, loads of stuff, streams, Project Cars 2, all that kind of jazz and things in future, and just have a general laugh. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. As I say, if you are not subscribed to my channel yet, then please be sure to do so. It would really mean a lot. I've got a video coming out tomorrow. I believe it is. Yeah, it's Thursday today. So tomorrow night, who is Driver 61? The story of Scott Mansell. So I think you'll find that one really enjoyable. So be sure to set my channel with notifications on when you subscribe so you don't miss that when it comes out. But otherwise, again, as I say, thank you all so much for watching today's stream. Hope you enjoyed the Christmas Cup, and I will see all of you Meerkats later. Goodbye, guys. Ciao.